Okay, big announcements here in the world of StarCraft. We have more information about a possible new StarCraft game. If you saw our previous piece on my YouTube channel, it was rumored that there were the 4 major Korean publishers went to California. I think some did it domestically here in Korea. Basically made a bid to make new StarCraft games, or maybe just one game. So there are 4 major Korean publishers. There's NCSoft, there's Netmarble, there's Krafton. Krafton makes games like PUBG. Why am I forgetting the other one? Maybe I'm thinking of Smilegate. That's another huge one out here in Korea. Yeah, this is a pretty big shock to hear. We also know from a lot of leaks that the Blizzard was making an FPS game for StarCraft. They've tried to do this a couple times and it's been canceled. I don't know if they're still making the FPS game now, or if this would be possibly ported over to one of these companies. But we have new developments. So this is a link to a Korean article. This came out, or I saw this morning, I should say. So I saw this maybe an hour or two before we recorded this. Korean media outlet Money Today reports that Nexon has won the competition among Korean publishers to develop new content with Blizzard's StarCraft IP. Nexon is also reported to have won the rights to distribute a new Overwatch mobile game, which is said to be a MOBA genre game in Korea and Japan. NCSoft and Netmarble are reported. Oh, that was the other one. Sorry. So NCSoft and Netmarble. Okay. Are reported to have actively bid for the package of StarCraft IP plus Overwatch mobile distribution rights. There are said to be no restrictions on genre or type of content to be created with the StarCraft IP. The Korean publishers are said to have submitted various pitches regarding StarCraft IP, such as a spin-off game, mods, and user-generated content, but Nexon's specific pitches are unknown. So, if you're watching this video, you're probably in the same camp that I'm in, where I like the StarCraft universe, I'm a fan, but I really want an RTS game. Here's the thing, I don't really mind/care if there's a phone game, if there's an RPG, if it's a shooter, and we also get an RTS, right? So one thing to remember is that all these companies are run by people a little bit older than me, and some a lot older than me. But the point I'm trying to make is these people grew up with StarCraft on TV. This is a Korean company. StarCraft, it's important to remember, not only was it the biggest game in Korea, and it's still the biggest game, StarCraft 1 is in Korea, but that it's also, those people grew up with this on cable. So it was essentially, you know, if you're, I'm 40, right? But if you remember, like pre-streams, pre-YouTube, cable was sort of where everybody got their info from, which means it was very ingrained in the minds of these people. So I would imagine there has to be some interest in making a StarCraft RTS game. If anybody was going to do it, it would be older Koreans who would have the most nostalgia for that. And I think maybe be the best at trying to make that a thing, make that thing a reality. So in a sense, that gives me hope. I was not sure how I felt about Nexon getting this. I think because, look, I've been in Korea for 17 years now, and I always remember Nexon as making, you know, kind of lower end games when I came out here. Not bad games, but they were just sort of the simpler games. They also took care of a lot of distribution of games that were otherwise too hard to make, or too hard to get into those markets. But if you're not familiar with this, as an example, in China, Blizzard's always working with a distributor because the Chinese market's hard to access. It's easier to work with a Chinese company. I think actually even in China specifically, you have to go through some kind of a Chinese distributor. But this is not uncommon for certain markets where you don't really have a base at, to just try to work with somebody who's on the inside to try to figure out how to get that out. So when I think of like Nexon, I'm thinking of games like Sudden Attack and some of these older games. Some of these games they didn't make, but you know, they helped distribute. Maple Story's one you might have heard of. But when you look at the more recent games that they've made, this was one I heard of, the first Berserker, Kahazan. This game looks great. I was actually thinking about buying this. I saw people on Twitch playing it. This looks good. I mean, if they can make a game that looks like this, there's a little bit of an anime tinge. A lot of Korean games tend to have, at times, anime influences. I mean, obviously, Japan is always going to have, I guess, the most kind of manga anime-style games, but they've got some stuff they've made that looks pretty good, which gives me a little bit of hope. I mean, this is a cool universe. I don't know a whole lot about this game or franchise, but I can look at this and tell you it looks good. That's correct, chat. So Nexon does make full-feature games. And they've grown quite a bit as a company. They made Dungeon Fighter, that's correct. Oh, I didn't realize Dungeon Fighter's connected to this. Okay, that makes more sense. But this is really interesting. The question is going to be, will they view StarCraft 1 as something so big that... And a lot of Koreans kind of view this game as StarCraft 1 is so perfect that it can't ever be topped. And it's why I think there has not been a lot of Korean RTS games, but I hope they go out there and try again. StarCraft 2 was wildly successful in the global markets, and I think with proper release and distribution, it can do well. StarCraft 2 got killed in Korea because KESPA wouldn't let all the StarCraft 1 pro gamers play the game when it came out, and they still had StarCraft 1 on TV. It was one of the most damaging launches for a game ever. But if they are able to do something with StarCraft, let's say it's StarCraft 3 as an RTS game, and put it on all the right streaming platforms, if they want to put it on cable, they can, and they're able to collaborate correctly with Blizzard and distribute that internationally, I don't see why it wouldn't be huge. And again, I'm not opposed to a StarCraft shooter. I'm kind of amazed that hasn't happened yet, or even a StarCraft RPG. I mean, the world is really good. It's basically Aliens versus Predator. But I do hope that they manage to do something exciting with this that's an RTS. I just hope that Blizzard, as well as Nexon, remember that the most hardcore StarCraft fans are the esports competitive people. For whatever reason, when I talk to people at Blizzard, or, you know, I don't know, I do feel like there's occasionally this attitude of like, there's the esports people and they're kind of doing their own thing, and then there's the people that like the story with Jim Raynor and Sarah Kerrigan. But I think there's just a lot of potential to do both. And I'm assuming that Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard and them looking at, you know, there's a lot of good IP here. If they can just figure out a way to kind of crank out more games with this, it should be profitable, it should be good, is an interesting one. Also, I was a little bit surprised to see they weren't going to use any of the people that made Age of Empires, or any of those RTS games that Microsoft had already supported. In my head, when I was trying to predict, I thought it would maybe go in that direction, where they would just import those people and have them work on this. That being said, I guess Nexon could always hire those people. The next thing we got to watch for is to see who Nexon is going to be hiring and what games have they worked on. It's extremely unlikely that they will hire people that have not worked on RTS games. Whether these are old RTS games like StarCraft 2 or Age of Empires 2, or these are new RTS games like Tempest Rising, stuff like that, we got to watch and see who Nexon's going to hire. And then I think we will have a good idea of what's coming. But it's exciting news. It feels like we're getting closer to getting back into the StarCraft universe. I feel like this has been... I mean, dude, it's literally been like 15 years or something like that for StarCraft 2. 14 or 15 years. We need something else in this space. Also, all these RTS games are coming out. Okay? You know, it's a time where it feels like people are kind of hungry for this. The itch is there. So... fingers crossed for StarCraft 3. I would love to have that. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment on what you think about Nexon, are you excited for this? Do you think it's the right direction? Do you think I'm crazy? Is this just going to be a StarCraft, I don't know, like a MMORPG or some kind of dungeon crawler, and we're not going to have an RTS? Be sure to like and subscribe, and you can always join me on my Twitch stream where I record these live at twitch.tv/tastelesstv. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.